Good evening. I hope that you still have some energy to go for the last part of the conference. And I want to thank you one more time for all inspiration I got during the day. And my wish is to be able to give you back at least a little bit. So I will start with my story. I have to say that I was born in the 70s in Romania. So in the communist time. At the same time, I consider myself a lucky woman because comparing with terrorized story, I had a completely different starting point of my life. I'm currently mother of 3 lovely kids. My social life is quite intense, and I never gave up with my hobbies. During my job, I traveled around the world quite a lot. I lived in a few countries. And I have to say that the 3 years I lived in North Africa, in Morocco, for me were very revealing and completely changed the perspective I had about women's position in our society. And this is the moment when I become even a stronger advocate of gender equality. During my life, as a woman, as a mother, and as a businesswoman, I heard not once that I have to slow down, that I can't do all these things, that I have to choose between building my career, growing up my kids, or even giving up with my hobbies. And I knew every moment that any of these areas I would sacrifice would make me unhappy. So I continued running, and it was not easy, but it was a wonderful journey. And I had many moments in my life when I felt confused, when I was not sure that I'm taking the right decision, but I kept doing, and I followed somehow my inner voice. And I will give you just a small example. When I first got my offer, my first international assignment offer, my daughter was having 7 months, and it was really hard decision to make. In the end, we made it. I decided to relocate with my family in Morocco, and it was one of the most exciting, but in the same time challenging experience. I will celebrate, as you heard, almost 20 years with AVON, and this not because I didn't have other opportunities in my life, in my career, it's just because for me it was the right company. And as a woman, I got a lot of support. But what really bonded me, what made me staying for so many years motivated in the same company, is actually the chance I had to make a difference and to do something else and more than just business. I was privileged to be able to touch many women's lives in my career, and I got huge inspiration from those women. And they taught me that the real power we have as a woman is within ourselves. But they taught me as well that our society can unleash this power, at the same time can be a real cage for it. And this is what I want to talk about today in the next 15 minutes, how us as corporation and how us as individuals can contribute to support women and to create together a better world. So we all know that today women are facing multiple challenges, starting with financial independence, poverty, discrimination in terms of women's rights, domestic violence. We heard about a lot, plenty of them today. At the same time, there is something more on top of this, and very often, women are in front of high society's expectations. And the pressure that they feel, it's so big that makes them giving up with their dreams, make them sacrificing themselves and just following and meeting the expectation of people around them. At the same time, in the other hand, there are women which are very courageous, like Tara in the morning. I was really very touched by her story, which take the courage to do things differently, take the courage to follow their dreams, to take from the life what they really want, what makes them happy, and this no matter if the world approves or disapproves them. And what we can do, the simple thing that we can do all, is to put these women on the spotlight and making the whole world listening their story. We can create inspiration for other women to be stronger and to make a better impact, a positive impact around them, because we know that women which are sacrificing their dreams are not happy, and they affect in the end negatively their kids, their families, and the world in which they live. So the idea of creating inspiration for women was as well behind one of the AVON campaigns which recently launched last year, and I will share with you now.
Již téměř 130 let navštěvuje AVON ženy v jejich domovech. Naslouchá jejich nejhlubším touhám a přáním. Vždy podtrhoval jejich krásu. Dodával jim sebevědomí, které jim pomáhalo zvolit tu správnou cestu. Cestu, kterou si přáli. Naším posláním je podporovat ženy být tím, kým chtějí být. Ne tím, co se od nich očekává. Dlouhou dobu AVON inspiroval ženy. Teď ženy inspirují AVON. Hledáme ty, které se navzdory očekávání sami rozhodly, kým mají či nemají být. Prý bych si měla vzít někoho...
Prý bych neměla, prý bych měla v práci zvolnit.
Ale já jsem se rozhodla poslat.
Ale já jsem se rozhodla podle sebe.
Já jsem se rozhodla poslat.
Ale já jsem se rozhodla podle sebe.
Díky kráse se můžeš rozhodovat správně. Díky AVONu se můžeš rozhodovat správně. Sama si zvol cestu. AVON. Krásné pro sebe.
Actually, we started this campaign by collecting inspiring stories from women around us. We have chosen 5 stories which were the most touching, and we used them as a starting point for collecting publicly courageous women's stories that we send them back after to our network, trying to create inspiration. I will just shortly share the 3 of these stories that we were used as a starting point. One is about Hannah, which is a 77-year-old lady, and she is extremely energetic, full of life. You will never say that she has this age, that she, by the way, ignores. And what she's doing, she's just showing to the world that women's life doesn't end up on their 50s. And she put a lot of effort to teach seniors how they can improve their lives, how they can be happy and successful even in a moment of their life when the time not really plays on their side. Another story, it's about Pavlina, which is a breast cancer survivor. And I never seen in my life so much positivity, so much optimism and belief in the future, like I saw in this woman's attitude and eyes. She's absolutely amazing. She has 2 wonderful kids. She's mother. She's a wife of a soldier husband, and at the same time, she's continuing her sales career, and all this in the same time inspiring and helping other women with breast cancer fighting against this terrible disease. And she still considers her life is beautiful. So it's a pleasure to see her enthusiasm and her power to go over the challenge life put in front of her. And last but not least, it's Petra, who is a lady which managed as a young abandoned mother to cope with the society pressure, and she finished her university while growing up her kid, and today she's a successful blogger, passionate and advocating about women's rights. So all these stories, we use them as a starting point, and we got back more than 700 stories that inspire our network of women later. And now I would like to ask you a question. I'm sure that all of you have your personal story, your personal dreams, and your personal battles to win. However, I want to ask you, do you remember any moment in your life when, despite what the world around you expected from you, you decided to do something that you really want? So I would like especially women to see their hands up if you remember any of these moments. Do you? So good enough. I'm thinking that if I ask men, I will have much more hands. So now please keep your hands up in case during these chapters of your life you got support from somebody. How did that feel? How do you feel making that decision? Did you feel stronger? Did that support you got in this moment of your life mattered? And how many times after this you tried to help and support other women around you to follow their inner voice, to do decisions which are not very much popular? I'm asking all these questions because I think sometimes we are underestimating the power that we have as women to help women around us, and little things, sometimes we can't imagine how much difference they can make. And it's like a lipstick that makes us feeling more confident, like a red lipstick. Sometimes just a simple advice, just listening to a woman can make a big difference for her and can empower her. But now let's go back to us as corporation. And there is not anymore a secret, it's already a confirmed global trend that consumers are more and more sensitive and they care more and more about the companies from whom they are buying their products. They care if they are socially responsible, they care about the quality of the ingredients, and they care as well about how these companies manage to bond emotionally with them. And we heard today from Maria, I think, from Skaska as well, that employees started to care more and more when they apply for some jobs if the companies which they are joining are socially responsible. So what I want to say is that it's not hard today to start to do something about that. I'm happy that all people in this room are already part as companies which care. That's why you are here today. But we have still a long journey to make because, as somebody said in the beginning of the day, there are plenty of companies outside which doesn't care as much. So how we can influence them? How can we inspire them to find areas where they can make a difference? And the inspiration we can give them is that just to make them thinking how their business models can nicely merge with social responsibilities campaign. And I will give you an examples. One of the campaigns of AVON, it's doing quite well, is the campaign against breast cancer. And how we end up to choose these topics, this area where to put our efforts. So we know that we are working with a big networks of women. And we know that these women are offering beauty products, in most of the cases, to their close friends and to their families. So implicitly, these women are having a trust, close relationship with these so-called customers. And for us, this is a great background where we can open and approach very sensitive topics like domestic violence, like breast cancer, and go against the natural shyness of women when it's coming about to talk about these topics. Why breast cancer? Just because it's one of the diseases with the highest incidence in women and generating death. It's actually the second death producer in terms of women cancers. And 1 in 8 women are developing this disease today. As well, what we know about this is that in 71% of cases, if this disease is diagnosed in the first stage, there is a big chance to survive. So what we have in mind is that why to die about something that you should not die? And we try to put our effort in making this happening. But as Kinga mentioned in the beginning of the day, any social campaign, in order to succeed, has to go through this AIDA process to create first awareness, then to create interest, desire, to be part of it, and only after that generate actions. And the same happened with our campaign. So we started in 2001 with just few enthusiasts in Czech Republic, and we managed to create a real social movement today. So last year we had more than 23,000 participants, and the engagement of media, of our ambassadors, is absolutely impressive. And we have to say that social media as well make a big difference, as well as the cooperation with the NGO that we had, which help us to become better and better every year. What we achieved, we are very proud of what we achieved. For me, actually, this is a fulfilled goal, because we managed to fundraise more than $4 million. And with this money, we helped over 118,000 women to have breast examination. What we are seeing is that in last years, mainly because of the lifestyle we are having, the incidence of breast cancer is increasing. So there are more and more cases identified. At the same time, we are pleased and happy to see that the mortality rate is decreasing. And we want to believe that we have our contribution to that. And last but not least, what I would name as a key success for this campaign, besides the fact that it's something that really makes sense for society, it's very good to have as many supporters as possible. It's very good to create the emotional bond with your supporters, and as well to get on your side opinion leaders. So in our case, having huge media support, having very well-known celebrities endorsing our campaign, it helps a lot to multiply the impact. It's an amazing feeling to see that united with more people around, you can increase your impact. And 2 weeks ago, we had the press conference for this year's walk. And I was really with my eyes in tears, because we had more participation than ever. It was the biggest press conference that we had in Czech. We had more than 100 journalists, almost double than last year, joining us. And the number of celebrities as well was almost double this year. And they don't have any benefits, these people, to come. So they come just because they trust us and they believe in what we are doing, and because they want to help. I want just to give you a small sample of what AVON Walk is in Prague. Sorry, I moved a bit too fast. So besides the fact that we are just a small country with 10 million inhabitants, we managed to have one of the biggest walk in AVON world. And we are really proud of that, and this is just because people in this country care, just because we manage not to disappoint them, and they trust in what we are doing. But now I want to share with you what is our vision, because as we heard, having CSR campaign, it's not anymore enough. So we have to do much more for society. And our wish and dream is to create the biggest women community supporting women. And we want to play in 4 areas that are already in our attention. So first, the core of our business is to provide earning opportunities to women, and in this way, financial independence. And we know that this is a global issue, and we want to continue to become one of the biggest supporters of financial independence. As well, we want to continue in nourishing the self-confidence in women through our channels, through women-to-women support. As an employer as well, we put it as a priority in our agenda to become an employer of choice for women. We know that women need a place of work which is adapted to their needs and which help them to move up in their career, who promote women in the way that they deserve. Currently, we are proud to say that we have globally more than 50% women in managerial position and more than 40% women in senior executive roles. And in Eastern Europe, these percentages are even higher. As well, we are creating flexible our environment, and we are trying to give as much as we can support women to develop. Then we continue with our campaigns, as I said, with the breast cancer. As well, we have in the focus domestic violence. Now it's quite small. We want to make it as big as breast cancer in the upcoming years. And this would be the main areas we want to play. And I will end up with the invitation for our walk, which is in 1 month and few days, so on 11th of June. I can promise you that you will have a memorable experience if you are deciding to join us. And the main takeaway for me is that no matter what you are doing as a business, you can make as well an impact on the society, a positive impact, and only thing that matters, it has to be a strong desire to help. I'm sure that you are having women's employees. I'm sure that you are having women's home, maybe daughters, and empowering them will not make us that just have a better world, a better life for us and for our children. So let's speak with our heart, let's do things from our heart, and I'm confident that the magic will happen. Thank you very much for your attention.